I'm gonna need whoever is controlling mine and Libby's voodoo dolls to chill out, because these past couple of weeks have really been putting us through it. But Lasalle sports happened, so it's not all bad. Hello, I'm Siobhan Nolan.
And I'm Libby Gilliland. I'm happy to report that even though Siobhan and I are going through it because, well, college is stressful, we have 30 minutes to forget about everything else and talk about sports, which is our most favorite thing to do. You're watching Lasalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. Sports happened, wins happened, losses happened. To find out who did what, you'll have to stick around for recaps.
And later, since we're a show about all LaSalle sports, we're long overdue to highlight some club sports. We have a live interview with club hockey captain KC Medico coming up soon.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1, the Atlantic 10 named Liz Mancini as its Women's Cross Country Performer of the Week. This week, the honor comes after Mancini's career first place finish at the Coast to Coast Battle in Beantown last Friday. The race, one of the largest on the East Coast, hosted 164 runners, but Mancini crossed the finish line with a career best 17 minutes and 2.2 seconds.
Number 2, women's soccer Haley Gishray was named as the NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week this week. She scored the game-winning goal against George Washington as the Explorers mounted a stunning comeback against their A10 opponents.
Number 3, men's basketball head coach Fran Dunphy announced changes to his coaching staff last Monday. Mark Huber, formerly the video coordinator, was promoted to assistant coach. Donnie Carr and John Cox will stay on as assistant coaches, while former player Andrew LaFawn and former manager Andrew Thorpe will be graduate managers.
So Liz Mancini in cross country getting named Performer of the Week. I didn't realize how important and big the battle in Beantown was, but the fact that she had her first place finish with a career best time for her, and the fact that she also gets an A10 honor with that, I mean, typical Mancini sister stuff, but it's still just really amazing to see LaSalle athletes get recognized individually like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we see it every week that one of the Mancini sisters has a career best, but this one actually getting the win, 164 runners, is a lot of people to beat. So very, very proud of her. Great achievement.
And Haley Gishray getting Student Athlete of the Week this week after women's soccer had an amazing comeback against George Washington. She scored the game-winning goal in that. She was also involved in the first goal that the women scored. So it's definitely good to see women's soccer getting back on track and having that individual recognition as well. And Fran Dunphy naming his coaching staff, switching it up from Ashley Howard's, which we're very used to seeing since he's been here for the past 4 years. So Libby, what do you think we're going to see with the new coaching staff in place for basketball?
Well, I'm just really excited that Fran Dunphy is taking initiative and changing that coaching staff for himself. I'm hoping that it goes a lot better for them this year, and hopefully maybe a change of personnel and pace will help them perform better.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have basketball's Josh Nickelberry working floor manager for us to give us more insight, but I think just that much experience and that much Big Five experience specifically is really going to help the team, and hopefully they can recruit, bring in more players, maybe feature some players that didn't feature as heavily last year. Basketball is one of those sports where we really want them to do well because they do get a lot of the resources and they do get a lot of the hype around them. So hopefully the coaching staff changes can make it so that they do as well as we want them to.
Yeah, and I think having a former player as an assistant now, I think that helps camaraderie. You're already familiar with the team, you know the processes, and now you're going to come out and lead the team. And I'm really excited to see how it goes this season.
And Andrew LaFawn is a fan favorite. He's always on the sidelines in last season's games. He got very good responses from the team and the fans as well. So to have that younger recognition and to have a more relatable figure on that staff is definitely going to help as well, because Fran Dunphy is older, but he does have that experience, which is very valuable and why they hired him. But that's it for the top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. Men's soccer had a good trip to St. Joe's last weekend, although their game didn't get off to an ideal start. The Hawks scored 19 seconds into the match, then, later in the first half, a handball on the Explorers earned St. Joe's a penalty kick. Lucky for Lasalle, goalkeeper Philip Sabati was able to make the save. The Explorers were still down 1-0 going into the second half, but Andreas Rodriguez put the blue and gold on the board in the 73rd minute with a rebound goal. 2 minutes later, Nigel Buckley caught a pass from Amari Cotterell to give Lasalle a 2-1 lead. The Explorers would hold on to this advantage for a win against their A10 and Big Five rivals.
Women's golf headed to Lewisburg, PA for the Bucknell Invitational last weekend. They faced a daunting 36 holes on Saturday and shot two team scores of 331 and 318. Freshman Nita Okanova led the team on Saturday with an 81, followed by an 82. Junior Hannah Bosler shot a first round of 82 and turned it around to tie a personal record of 64 in her second round. When Sunday arrived, the Explorers faced their final 18. Junior Kaylee Zeman led the team with a 75, followed close behind by Bosler's 76. Sophomore Paige Ciaramino finished the day with an 80, and the team had an overall score of 316, the best of their weekend. The women finished fourth place overall and will head to Navy this weekend to continue their full schedule.
Women's soccer took on George Washington at McCarthy Stadium, where the first half saw 9 shots and 2 corner kicks, but no goals from either side. However, less than a minute into the second half, the Colonials scored. Then, in the 78th minute, Haley Gishray flicked a ball into the box where it came off a GW defender to put the Explorers level at 1-1. Shortly after, Gishray was at the center of the offense when she scored off an assist from Lauren Costello, leading the Explorers to a 2-1 win. It was then off to Virginia to take on VCU, where the Explorers had some good chances on goal, but a penalty for VCU was the difference maker, as LaSalle fell 1-0 on the road.
Cross country had a successful visit to Boston last weekend as they competed in the coast-to-coast battle at Beantown. Out of 164 runners, Liz Mancini came out on top with a career best performance of 17 minutes and 2 seconds. Right behind her was Elle Mancini, fourth with a time of 17 minutes and 27 seconds. The third Mancini sister, Christine, secured a top 20 finish, coming in 17th place with a time of 17 minutes and 45 seconds. Maeve Gimbert closed out the Explorer scoring with a career best time of her own, 18 minutes and 59 seconds. The team finished fourth overall out of 19 teams. They will have a couple weeks to recover before heading to the Penn State National.
LaSalle field hockey had 2 games over the weekend, both of which ended in a loss. The Explorers had an early chance to score in their game Friday against VCU. However, Quinn Medico's shot off a corner went right into the pad of the Rams goalie. This was LaSalle's only chance to gain any control in the game, as VCU scored 4 goals over the next 55 minutes and would walk away with a 4-0 victory. The start of their second game against Villanova was also not great for LaSalle, who ended the first half down 1-0 to the Wildcats. However, the Explorers roared back with Zal Rodrigo scoring in the third quarter and Tatum Johnson scoring in the fourth to give LaSalle a 2-1 lead. Unfortunately, Nova answered quickly to tie the game at 2 and force overtime. The extra period would not last long, though, as the Wildcats would score the golden goal in the 63rd minute to seal a 3-2 victory. LaSalle now has a 3-7 record for the season. So I'm very excited. Men's soccer finally got a win, and against St. Joe's, which are both our rivals in the A10 and Big Five, so that's definitely a promising win for them. What I didn't love to see, though, was a lot of the players and some of the coaches were posting things on social media saying that Philly is blue now. I don't think that's fair to say when you only have 2 wins on the season, but I appreciate the confidence. I appreciate the fact that they're making the best out of a win that, they should be proud of that. Obviously, I don't want to take away from a winning game because that's what I've been asking for. But, I really want people to be realistic in this sense, and I want them to understand that, while a win is good, especially against St. Joe's, it's not really cause to say that Philly is blue yet, because I don't know if we can say that in any of our sports, quite frankly.
Well, hey, Siobhan, we always talk about team camaraderie.
Yes,
and
true.
Getting it out on social media, the excitement, maybe this is the turnaround for the soccer team. I'm going to stay on the positive side here.
Yeah.
I want them to do well, and maybe this is the turnaround.
And that's very fair, and I am definitely a harsh critic because I'm very into soccer. I take it very seriously, and I do want them to win as well, so it's been kind of frustrating that they haven't been able to, but you know what, Livy, I'm going to take your optimistic stance. I'm going to hope that this is the turnaround, and women's soccer is also experiencing a turnaround. VCU is always kind of a tough opponent, so The loss against them was, I don't want to say expected, but they're a good team. They always give LaSalle trouble, but the comeback win over George Washington is definitely a positive sign, especially when you have one player involved in a lot of the offense and scoring, since that's where they've had issues the most. So women's soccer also putting a positive spin on their season, which is good.
Yeah, and comeback wins are always good, again, for team camaraderie. You want the excitement, and maybe the excitement of that game, the excitement of the women winning a game. Maybe this is the rise for soccer, and at least have a good end to the season and kind of build up that excitement going into the end of the year, even if it wasn't the outcome that you were hoping for at the end. Get a few wins and feel a little bit better maybe going into next year.
And that's enough of my soccer jabbering. Women's golf did really well over the weekend at Bucknell. So, 36 holes, that just sounds like a lot. I don't know much about golf, but that just sounds like a very tiring competition. So, Libby, can you just kind of take us through what a day like that can have, like the toll it can take on a golfer?
Yeah, absolutely. We've played 2 events in a row of 36 holes. You are out there the entire day. It's, wake up super early in the morning. It's exhausting. And the scores that the team put up this week, even through that, is incredibly impressive. We have a very hard schedule this year. We've been traveling a ton, and we're performing better than we ever have. So super, super proud of the team, and I think the coaching is helping with that. Our new coach, Dana Burley, is really taking charge and allowing us to shoot the scores that we need to compete.
And, golf is just doing really well in general, and the women are, finishing in 4th, great individual performances, which we love to see. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, KC Medico joins us on desk to talk about LaSalle's club hockey team. Stay tuned.
Extinction is forever. To save America's most iconic and imperiled species from extinction, we must fight for their future. Fight to save the natural lands that wildlife call home. Fight to limit pollution. Fight for smart development. Fight for their future. And fight for ours. For so goes nature, so goes us.
Using meth taught me everything about freedom, only not like you think. It taught me how easy it is to lose your freedom, how meth can take control until you find yourself doing whatever meth tells you to do. Before you get there, while you still can, take a stand for yourself. If you feel yourself losing your freedom to meth, ask for help. Accept the help. It's worth it. You have the power to be truly free and be the person you want to be. I know. I'm Jan, and I'm free from meth.
If you or someone you know is struggling with meth, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/meth.
Welcome back. We have club sports, and frankly, we need to talk about them more. To help us do that, we're joined by club hockey captain KC Medico. So KC, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
Can you just kind of take us through the club hockey team at LaSalle, the members, the culture, how you guys got started, and just what's been happening for you guys so far this season?
Yeah. So club hockey's been around pretty much since LaSalle originated. It's been on campus forever. and it's helped out so many people. And so really, it's usually all LaSalle, people who go to LaSalle, but this year we were short on people, so the league allowed us to use community college players. And so we have that going for us. We have our first game next week. And so all of our coaches are also former LaSalle ice hockey players and alumni, so it's all a really tight-knit group, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so being a club sport is a little bit different than a real varsity sport, but you still have to do the planning, and like you said, you have coaches, but you're the team captain. How much do you have to be involved to make it all happen?
Yeah, so, we practice, our practices are late at night, they're Tuesday, Thursdays at 9:30 at night, and so like that, it takes up a lot of your time, and games are always on the weekend. We have games in Maryland this year that we have to travel 2+ hours to, so it's definitely a time commitment, and I think just managing your time. Obviously we don't practice every day. We don't have, intense, practice schedules, but, it is still a big commitment for us, and, I love doing it.
And traveling to games in Maryland, like you said, and just having different opponents from different states, is there anyone on your schedule this season that you're most excited to play?
Kutztown.
Kutztown.
is they're our biggest rival. My freshman year, I remember we played Kutztown, and big rival, and so there was about a minute left. I put one in to tie the game, and then Kutztown brings a big fan van, and that was our senior night. So a captain on the team, he's in a fraternity, so like his whole fraternity came, and so like the place was buzzing, and so the whole place was just so electric when I scored, and then 30 seconds later they score to put them up 1. And all their fans who they brought were going crazy. So I've been thinking about playing Kutztown ever since that day, and I can't wait to get out there.
So talk a little bit about the team camaraderie this year. What's the team like? How many people did you have graduate, and does everything kind of feel the same as it did?
Yeah, so going back last year, we graduated almost 8 kids. So our last year we were scrapping to find kids then. We were able to have enough for a team. But so we graduated about, I want to say 3-4 players, and most of those guys were our best players. So this year, guys like Bobby Murphy, who I want to shout out, is really going to step up for us, and a lot of these community college kids who are playing for us are going to step up, and I'm really excited for that.
And just speaking from personal experience interviewing in club hockey, it's a very vast world, it's a growing world. Do you know other players or other teams that you think really bring a good name to the club and that you hope LaSalle can be included with as well?
Other teams,
yeah.
kind of. So I have a bunch of friends on Fordham Ice Hockey.
Love Fordham.
Yeah, Fordham. They're a bunch of great guys over there. Quick shout out to them. But that is such a tight knit group. They're all super close. I love going out there, hanging out with them. They talk to one another all the time. They're together all the time, and I love that. And I think this year we're really bringing that kind of environment to LaSalle, and we're trying to get team dinners. We want to go out together to sports games, field hockey games, all that kind of stuff. So we want to really kind of have that environment for us.
Yeah, and taking it back all the way to the beginning, you love hockey so much, and you've been such a big advocate for this team. But where did it start? How did you start playing hockey?
So when I was 3 years old, my dad I'm from Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. So he got season tickets to the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins games. So, my whole life I grew up going to those games. He put me in skates when I was 3 years old. And so just that got me into the sport. And I skated with a guy named Brian Tweedy, who has been one of my closest coaches I've ever had in my life. He's the reason why I still play hockey to this day. So he was my coach when I was 3 years old, literally in diapers, to the point where he was my coach senior year of high school. And so I love him, and he's helped me out so much. So just that love has continued me into college, and I can still play to this day.
And another close connection you have that's a different kind of hockey is your younger sister Quinn, who plays field hockey at LaSalle. How did you two both end up here? Did you have any influence on her coming here, or was that her decision?
So she claims that there was no influence, but I think she just wanted to hang out with her cool older brother.
Of course,
so,
yeah.
So, but I came to LaSalle. I wanted to go to a Philly school. I wanted to go to a school that still had ice hockey because I still really want to play. And I wanted to go to a school that had a great communication program. So LaSalle checked all 3 of those boxes for me. And, my sister, she talked to a few schools, but when it came down to it, I think Lasalle was the best fit for her. I mean, since last year, she's been playing a ton, and you know, I love that she came here. I love watching her play still. She's, I think, one of my favorite athletes here, and I get the opportunity to watch her.
Yeah, so that brother-sister kind of relationship, and she came here not by the influence of you, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
what is it really like watching her and kind of growing up with her, seeing her at the same school that you are?
It's so crazy. You know, watching her in high school, you know, I always knew that there was that fight in her. You know, freshman year in high school, she didn't really get that time that I thought she deserved. I knew that there was always another level that could be unlocked to her potential, and I think around her sophomore, junior year, she was starting, and you know, it's just so crazy that like watching her play, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's getting D1 offers now, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, like she's at the same school I'm at, and I can still watch her play at a D1 level. And you know, getting to watch her here, getting her to compete at the level she's competing at is just awesome. It's insane. I love it.
So do you guys often have debates over who's the better hockey player? Or is it kind of like you can't really compare
Well,
the
it's close.
two?
You know,
Yeah.
she got Explorer of the Week a few weeks ago, so like, you
It's
know,
fine.
that's a big notch for her. But you know, I'm just as competitive.
Yeah, of
but
course.
No, I mean it's her by a mile.
Okay.
She's awesome. She's insane. She's like the hardest worker I know, and she deserves it, all the accolades and everything coming her way.
Have you guys ever tried each other's hockeys? Like if you try to play field hockey, she tries to skate?
So fun tidbit, in 8th grade, the field hockey team at my middle school, they needed a goalie. Guess who stepped up? Not
There
a big
you
deal.
go. Multi-sport athlete.
Yep. So that's out there now. I did help out that year. And so my sister did play ice hockey for a bit when she was younger, but I mean, field hockey was always her
Yeah.
go-to.
Of course. So you'll definitely want to check out the ice hockey team when their season starts up very soon. So Casey, thank you so much for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah. We're going to take another break, but when we come back, we'll have the rundown of this week's upcoming games.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
D-E-P-R.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale.
Bipolar?
Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment.
Anxiety. I thought so.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
I just missed the shuttle.
You never hit record!
I never hit record. I just got an F on my exam.
Is that you? Do you sit around bored all day? Do you want to watch television shows where you can look at the people and be like, I can be that. That's me. Well, you should check out Lasalle TV. That rhymes. We got entertainment news at Backstage Pass. We got regular news at LTV News. We got sports news at Sports Talk and SportsLine. And for those of you who really want some fun stuff, Q&A. Because down at Lasalle TV, we got a full buffet.
Thanks, Lasalle TV.
Thanks, Lasalle TV.
Thanks, Lasalle TV. I still miss my shuttle.
Welcome back. Our Explorers teams are back at it this week with a new slate of games, so here's what you can look forward to. Men's cross country will participate in the Paul Short Run on Friday, September 30th in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. On that same day, field hockey will take on UMass at DeVincent Field. Then, women's golf heads down to Maryland for the Navy Fall Invitational on October 2nd and 3rd.
Then, at McCarthy Stadium on Saturday, October 1st, men's soccer takes on St. Bonaventure. Women's soccer will be at McCarthy Stadium on Sunday, October 2nd, to face off against Duquesne. Rounding out the Explorer sports this week is men's golf, who will head up to New York for the Binghamton Invitational on October 3rd and 4th.
So I guess this is where we're going to say our games that we're most looking forward to this week. It's very basic for me to say soccer, so now that we have our field hockey endorsement from KC, I'm going to say I'm excited for field hockey because I have been out to a couple of their games. They have a really good team of players. They have a really great dynamic coach, so hopefully against UMass, that's always a really good rivalry. It's also the Stadium Cup giveaway, so that's always fun to do. So I'm going to say I'm excited for field hockey this week.
And I'm always excited for golf. The men's team has had a week off, so they had a really great start first couple weeks, but we're going to see what that time off did and see if they can hop back into it and play well this week.
So that just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorer Report, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com. You can also check out the digital edition of The Collegian, which now features SportsLine content.
Also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send your thoughts and suggestions there. This week, instead of a poll, we are sending our thoughts and prayers to those impacted by Hurricane Ian.
Yes, definitely want everyone in the affected areas to stay as safe as possible. And for our entire SportsLine team, I'm Siobhan Nolan.
And I'm Libby Gilliland. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.